How's it going, Atlanta United fans? My name is Corey Knapp. Welcome to another episode of 90 on Peachtree, coming to you one day before Atlanta United takes on rival Orlando City SC down in Florida, and we think this could be a pivotal game for Atlanta. They're going through a rough stretch, but this can be a game that Atlanta really can use to turn around its season, get some momentum going, and really just take it to their rivals on their home pitch. This matchup with Orlando really could be the best thing or the worst thing for Atlanta United right now. We know the team is struggling, they're drawing, they're losing at home. The last two matches they've played a little better, there have been signs of life. Josef is back in the rotation now, and you know Josef is going to love starting again in Orlando. He came on as a sub during the team's 0-0 draw. Of course they drew in April, but having him back and starting in Orlando could be a very big boost for the team. So often we say throw the record books out during a rivalry match, and often it's the team that is better saying that and is saying we can't take this team lightly, they're our rival, anything can happen. And really in this case for Atlanta United it's the opposite way, and we can maybe take the benefit from that and say yeah, throw the record books out and say things really don't matter with how poorly Atlanta United is playing or how well Orlando could be playing or what is going on with these teams. We know it's going to be a close game. We know it's going to be tight. We know it's going to be very fierce. There's going to be definitely some anger between the teams, definitely some animosity, definitely some bad blood between the teams. We know there's going to be a pretty raucous crowd in Orlando, and the Atlanta United players are going to hear it. For a lot of the players, especially still since Brad and Miles and George are all still with the U.S. men's national team, is going to be their first time playing in that stadium for extended minutes, and so that'll be a bit of an adjustment. But look to Josef to guide them, and look to Josef to really say, all right, guys, this is kind of where our new season starts, and this is a great opportunity to get a win. And Josef has really been positive these last couple of weeks since he came back to the team, really emphasizing, yes, we're in a difficult moment right now, but we're going to get through it. And he needs the fans, he needs the players, he needs the coaches, he needs everyone all kind of pulling in the same direction. And that's tough when the team's not playing well. Like, the team has not been good, has not been fun to watch, has not been entertaining at all. And it's demoralizing. You can't deny that it's demoralizing in a lot of ways. But it's been great to see Josef say, we're going to get through this, we're going to do it together, and it'd be great if he had another vintage Josef Orlando performance this Friday, so we'll definitely look forward to that. Switching gears a little bit now to the bigger picture, another question I want to ask this week is, what's the most important thing Atlanta United needs right now as a club? Do they need a better coach, or do they need better players? Wait, can we do both? Ideally, you have both. Ideally, you have a great coach, great players who buy into the system, and they all kind of evolve together. In 2017, in the team's first year, they had Tata, our King Tata, our leader, and an upstart roster built very much for Tata with good, solid young players. In 2018, it was Tata and an enhanced roster that leveled up to win the MLS Cup. They added Darlington Nagbe, they added Remedi, and that really brought the team to that championship level, along with the core that played that first inaugural season. And that was kind of the perfect combination. You had a great coach and a great group of players who all kind of hit their peak at the right time. In 2019, you had Frank de Boer with a roster suited much more for Tata. And really for most of the first couple months of the season, it was the same roster aside from Miguel Almiron who had been transferred. But they tried to adjust to de Boer, and they didn't like it. They weren't having fun. They weren't playing well. And they said, you know what? We're going to do our thing, and that's how it's going to be. And if Frank gets on board, great. And if not, that's a shame. And credit to Frank, he said, all right, I'm going to change a little bit and adjust to my players and play a little bit more how they want to play. And the team was a win away from playing for a repeat MLS Cup title. And so that was not maybe the most ideal scenario, but it was still the coach bending to his players and the players saying, you know what, we're built to play a certain way and we're going to play that way, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. In 2020, it was Frank de Boer again, but with a much lesser roster. Josef was hurt, and it was complete yikes. The team was bad, there was dissension in the locker room, no one was getting along, no one was playing well, and it just became a total loss for the season. And then things looked up this year in 2021. Gabriel Hines had a young roster with high potential, but again, still working without Josef. He was continuing to return and recover from his injury. And the results obviously were not great, and some of that potential just didn't come through. So some of it was Heinze, and obviously we've learned about how much he and his players were not getting along in training and what he was putting them through. But then again, some of the players just did not step up to what either they were thought to be or what they needed to be in order for this team to be good. And so now for the next coach and for Darren and Carlos, it's going to be a huge hire and probably the most important hire they make. during their time in charge in Atlanta United, maybe aside from Tata? Do they go for a big name coach and rely on him to make a big mark with whatever is kind of here right now? Or do you go a little more conservative, find a coach who's a little lesser known but has a nice baseline style and way of doing things that's in the mold of Tata, who's going to attack, who's going to really push the players to go and score goals and go back to winning matches 4-3, 5-4, and play really entertaining soccer, and kind of build up the roster from there and give that coach a lot of really good players and say, here is so much talent, and just kind of mold them, and won't have to, and don't ask that coach to do too much, and just say, here is all this talent. You can work with them and place them in different kind of parts of a system, but they're really going to be able to kind of carry you and do a lot of the work for you. And the coach would have obviously his overall imprint on what's going on in the club and on the pitch and during games, but it would really be the players leading the way and kind of inflicting how they want to play on each and every game. And so yes, Tata and those teams in 2017 and 2018, those were the perfect combos, but you're not going to get that most of the time, really maybe even half the time. So you have to decide who's going to drive the bus and what's going to be your identity. And I think it's best to go with the players, and really Atlanta United made it clear that when they rolled with Josef over Heinze, that I know they want to say there were a lot of things going on, but basically it was they decided Josef was the man at the club, and really no one's going to usurp him without a very, very good reason. And so they're going to roll with the players, and I think that's great. Players want to have their identity. Players want to be relied and trusted upon, and I think Atlanta United needs to roll with its players, trust the players it's going to bring in, continue to bring in good young talent from around the world, specifically South America, and say you guys are going to be able to come into an environment that's going to be fun. The coach is going to let you play your way. He's going to do some tweaks here and there, but mostly it's going to be we're going to score goals and we're going to play fun soccer. Ultimately, there needs to be give and take. Josef and the guys have to trust the manager and want to play for him, and then the coach needs to be able to let the guys do what they do and trust them. Make the game plan, practice it, put in the system, and then say, all right, guys, this is up to you, and I trust you, and you guys are going to go out there and play your game and have a great time doing it and put a great product on the field. And that's what I think is the crucial, kind of the crux of what Atlanta United needs to figure out over these next couple weeks or months, is to find that coach, find that balance in the middle ground of bringing in a really nice, solid coach and bringing in players who are each going to kind of work together and bring up their level together, and so we can have, and so the team can maximize a coach who maybe is up and coming along with players who are up and coming, and they can be great, they can find their rhythm, they can play good, fun, exciting soccer. But again, that's a little more down the line. We're still waiting and seeing what Darren and Carlos are going to do in the transfer window with whatever they do with the coaching hire. And for now, all we can focus on is Orlando on Friday and maybe finally getting a win to break this drought. It would be so awesome to see Josef score in Orlando. You know he wants to. And it'd just be great for the team as a whole, just for morale. Score a couple goals in Orlando, quiet that crowd, and really get a big rivalry win. Again, throw the record books out. Anything can happen in Orlando against Atlanta, and that's what we like to see. And so hopefully it's a great rivalry game tomorrow on Friday night, and we'll talk about it next week maybe. So we'll see you guys next time on 90 on Peachtree. Be sure to subscribe and follow Atlanta Sports Unlimited. My name is Corey Knapp. We'll see you guys next week.